Good day everyone. So you might have heard some fancy terms like Dragonstrike, wave dashing. If not, don't worry. We're primarily just going to cover Dragonstriking in this video. I'll also tell you why some of these more fancier techniques are kind of practically useless a bit later on. But honestly, they are fun whilst we are bored and waiting for Sumru. So let's start off with just Dragonstriking and how it sort of works. Basically, it is the technique as you'll sort of see in the background. So I'm going to hit the enemy, jump up and then do a quick plunge attack. Pretty simple. For those of you that did not sort of catch it, I'll just quickly sort of replay it here. Hit the enemy and jump up, plunge, and go down. So how does all of this work? Well, it's kind of interesting. In Genshin Impact, most of your claymore, well, all of them, your claymore, your polearm, and your sort of sword users all have what we call hit lag. Basically, this is where when you have, let's say, the sword animation hitting an enemy, the game at the point of contact adds a couple of frames to sort of the frame data. It almost feels like there's a bit of a slowdown, and the effect of this means that you get a bit more weightiness. There's more of a, it feels like your blows are a bit more impactful, and we can actually see this here when Beidou sort of hits the enemy. So here's the animation, it makes contact at this point, and as you can see frame by frame, the sword animation is not going through. It's sort of almost like stuck in place. This gives a bit more weight to Beidou's attacks and so on. And then finally, as you can see, the hit lag is sort of removed. Now, an interesting thing about this is that if you use this hit lag and you dash and then jump, but very quickly after, it's like almost instantaneously one after the other. At the point of hit lag, if you dash and jump immediately after, you can gain some aerial momentum like this. You can see as she almost like skyrockets, and then you can do a plunging attack by just holding your mouse one button. This is sort of the key behind Dragonstrike, and it is in essence a technique for you to do plunging attacks whilst remaining on level ground. Now, if you've got a bit of an inclination and so on, sometimes even if you fail to do the proper Dragonstrike, you can still even like get off a plunging attack. But when you have level ground, this is kind of a useful technique, particularly on claymore users. It is theoretically possible to do it with sword and polearm users, but I do think with my ping and sort of reactions and sort of skill, it's not really possible. But if I do ever manage to do it, I'll definitely show you guys. But yeah, so as for the practical aspects of it, well, let me just entertain you very quickly with a Diluc video of mine, and just see, I'm also going to do the Dragonstrike with Diluc, and yeah, that sort of is what happened. It did nothing to any of the enemies. It's kind of hilarious. So we were just sort of dashing, doing Dragonstrike, and you know, just caught up in the air. So let's cue the Spiral Abyss and let's talk a bit about this in more detail. Alright, so now we're in the Spiral Abyss with our little mascot, Kokomi, and yeah, so what do we make of some of these techniques like Dragonstrike or Wave Dashing for those of you that know about it? Well, I do think as cool as they are, sometimes they can be very impractical, and even if on paper they could do more damage than just the simple Unga Bunga, it's always a question of, well, you know, what is the full scope of what you need to do in the game. So for instance, in the background footage here, you'll notice that I swirled like Pyro on both times with Sucrose and so on with her elemental burst, and this wasn't a coincidence. The gameplay may look clunky, you know, I got hit as Sucrose, I didn't animation or I didn't dodge everything, but at the end of the day, my battle plan was to always infuse with Yoimiya's elemental burst, infuse Pyro, because that is what allowed me to clear the floor and in a very moderate sort of time for an account like this. By the way, I'm on an alternative account for those of you that are interested. And at the end of the day, just knowing where to position, knowing which buttons to press in which order, understanding certain rules like internal cooldowns and so on, I think can help the average player way more than seeing something on Tony Toe or on a 1010 channel and all they're talking about is Dragonstrike and Hu Tao animation cancels and all this nonsense. At the end of the day, yeah, those things are cool. Yeah, they probably are better on paper, but how practical are they? Are they really, really worth the marginal benefit that you're going to get from it? And in my opinion, the answer is no, not really. For the average person, it really, really doesn't matter. What does matter is the comfort in which you're sort of doing things, and this is why I like Yoimiya as one of I like her and Klee sort of as pyro units. Klee because I can do technical things, and Yoimiya because I can just sit back, relax, unga bunga, and sort of think more about what I want to do from a macro sort of sense. In other words, what burst do I want to infuse? I'm not bothered by, like, you know, what sort of the animation cancels. Even here you can see I just sort of saved up my elemental burst, and when the time's right I just attacked further on. I did not try to min-max the time, try to get the fastest clear, try to be the giggest of chads with this team comp and do it like in world record time. None of that matters. All that matters is that I have a good time, and the answer is yes, and you guys can see me having a good time bullying the big fat Futui men, and yeah, that is all that matters in my opinion. But yeah, so I just want to show you guys what the Dragonstrike is, sort of what, if anyone ever talks about it, you also know what it is. Try it in your spare time. Sumru is still quite a bit away, so if you're bored you can try it. If you want to do other things like go to Kaching Mains, look at their library, they've got all sorts of fancy stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, just keep on playing, and I can't wait personally for Sumru because I'm bored out of my mind. Yeah, currently with Genshin. Alright guys, thanks for watching, cheers.